Hello, I'm Kevin Tharp. Today we're going to be talking about search engines. And before we get into that, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our partner organization, FindLaw. Our search engine optimization course simply could not happen without the support of FindLaw, who have provided us resources to develop the course, have provided us instructors, and the resources that we need to move forward with teaching this kind of content. So our thanks to all the great people at FindLaw and everything that they've done to lead to the success of this program. I'd specifically like to do a shout out for this video to Tina Johnson from FindLaw. Much of the content that's in here is taken directly from a deck that she developed when she taught the course, this week's version of the course, the first time in 2013. And so I just want to give a shout out to her because much of the information that we're going to be covering today was organized as curriculum by her. So special thanks to Tina Johnson. So now let's get into it. What is a search engine? Google says it's a program for the retrieval of data, files, or documents from a database or network, especially the internet. Webopedia: search engines are programs that search documents for specified keywords and returns a list of documents where the keywords were found. So it is a tool for finding information specifically on the internet. It's not always on the internet. When we're looking at the web, the types of search engine that we most often think of is a web search engine such as Google or Bing. There's meta searches, which are search engines that crawl other search engines. So it's a virtual database that pull from multiple search engines. Database search engines would specifically search in databases. Enterprise search engines, which are usually looking at the resources that belong to a specific entity, thus the term enterprise. Desktop search engines, which search your machine, etc. So today we're really going to be talking about web search engines. We're not going to be talking about all those other search engines because this is the focus of this course is on the web search engines. Now, when I put together or was going through the deck and revising it, it showed, the dominant players were Google, Yahoo, and Bing. By the time that you watch this, it may be that Yahoo is no longer a player in that. An article came out on the 26th of September 2014 where Yahoo let its users know that it would be shutting down Yahoo directory as well as some other services in December of 2014. So that is going to significantly change the thing, although as you'll see later on in the slide, there wasn't a huge percentage of the search that was coming from Yahoo. So then we get onto this, the share of the search. And so one of the things that you're going to have to do to stay current with this kind of topic is to commonly look at the information. So here's information from August of 2013. This is when Tina Johnson was putting together this deck. These were the numbers. When I go to, I'm using the resource that she had outlined here, ComScore. When you go to ComScore, what you're going to find is that they regularly release information to the internet about all kinds of details. This happens to be search engine rankings is the one that we're looking at there. So Google is hanging right around 67.5%. If you look back, that's in the same general ballpark as there. Last year, Yahoo had 11.4%. This year, they were down to 10, and now they're going to be closing the directory. So that's going to change that. But you'll see that now 10% may not seem that huge, but it's still an incredible amount of searches. But apparently, they felt like they had lost their part of the niche. After about 20 years, they have been a resource on the web, allowing people to find things. They were one of the earliest resources on the web that were commonly used for search. And so that is coming to an end, and that is one of the things that you will have to one of the reasons that you will have to stay current. Here is one of the resources that you can use, ComScore. So if you go to ComScore, there's all kinds of information that is out there. And if you go into their market rankings section, you'll see that they do all kinds of these market ranking reports, digital media properties, online video rankings, search engine rankings, that's the one we were just looking at, and all kinds of other things. So here's another resource that you can use, comscore.com, in order to help you to stay current. So when you have a player such as Google, who is taking that much of the market, and we're only going to look at the market in the United States. There's other players around the world, other places where Google isn't quite as dominant, but we're only going to look at it for understanding purposes to keep it down. We're just going to look at the United States. So when you have an organization that is as big as Google and Bing as well, between those two, they cover most of the search queries, all but maybe about 15% of the search queries that are out there. And so what happens is that you're going to have to start thinking about some business and ethical considerations about what's going on. So even when I made this slide deck, I had already come to the idea that what I wanted to tell you about is that there's going to be change. And then I saw this article before I got a chance to read it, the article about Yahoo closing your directory. So you're going to have to watch that changing, but there's still a series of considerations that you're going to need to look at when it comes to business and ethics. And those ongoing considerations are in the area of what is the search engine's ability to influence the life that we live in their business, in culture, in global society. And that ability for them to make changes is huge. And so you may ask, well, how is Google got the ability to influence culture? Well, they have a set of their own ethical standards and practices that are about how they're going to implement their services. And the influence of the internet, not only does it affect business and culture, but it's affecting the global society and the ability of the world to have access to different kinds of information. So it really is changing, and you see things, global upheavals in the way that society is working because they have this gained access to information, and there's a lot of influences to try and control that access to information and the kinds of information that are in that location. So there's real ethical and business considerations that need to be considered. For instance, from a business standpoint, if you are running a business that doesn't fit within Google's quality guidelines, and we'll look at the results of getting in that situation, your business can go from extremely busy to almost nothing if you rely heavily upon or entirely upon the results of search engines in order to get traffic to your site. So that's one of the things you really have to think about when you're going on. And one of the questions that comes up is, does Google have a monopoly? What would you have? What concerns might you have about one search engine being so dominant in the industry, and how would you mitigate the risks that situation might be bringing forward? And so the main search engines are used to power other search engines and services. For instance, right now, Yahoo uses the same search engine as Bing, and Siri is also powered by Bing. So they're really the main two players are Google and Bing, and the other ones build upon those abilities to do it. So there's really only two main players from the standpoint of what are the search engines and services, not necessarily the interface to them. And again, we're going to have to take Yahoo out of this because they're going to be shutting down. Be interesting to see what comes in, and as we talked about in the the lecture that talks about different kinds of search engines, Yahoo is largely a directory rather than a true search engine or a smart search engine, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they're going away. So now that we only have sort of two main players in this, or at least we don't know what's going to change, what are the revenue models and how is that going to impact search? One of the trends to look at is that you're seeing more and more paid results coming up in the results instead of the organic search results. And so every time one of those ads shows up, that means that Google is getting paid, or Bing is getting paid, or whoever is managing that ad is getting paid. So that is their revenue model. And how is that changing search? And it's changing search significantly. It used to be that the primary results were keyword-based organic search results, and then the ads started coming in. Now if you go to a Google search, you're going to see a lot more of the paid ads. And you can't always tell, unless you are aware, what those paid ads are. So if I come into Google and I do a search, okay Google, restaurants in Menominee. Now, the one thing they can't get right is the pronunciation of Menominee, but the first thing across here is ads. The thing over here is ads. Now, in this particular case, it doesn't look like there are a lot of paid results because in Menominee, people don't appear to be doing as much pay per click. Now, if I change that to, okay, Google, realtors in Minneapolis. Now you're going to see they've added this little ad tag so that you can see. The first three results in this case are ads, and then this entire section over here on the side is ads. So more and more of the results are showing up, and depending upon what you're searching for and the changes in the recent algorithms, you can end up seeing a lot of results that are paid ads. And so that's one of the things to think about, and the impact that it has on search is how Bing and Google and any other search engines that happen to be in play are trying to make their money. So one of the things that I'd like to move on to now is about how search actually works. And I'm going to actually pause this video and give you an opportunity to watch this Matt Cutts video. I will link to it from within the course materials so that it goes on. But if you're just watching this on YouTube, there's the address of the YouTube video that we're going to watch. And then after that video, we'll come back and in the next video in the procession.